In a world where gaining access to birth control can be as easy as a visit to the drugstore, it's hard to imagine that only 55 years ago, even mentioning the word contraceptive was seen as obscene and punishable by the law. Today, there are over a dozen methods of birth control that can be acquired over the counter. Women's health concerns can be talked about, and education can be shared easily. And for that, we have none other to thank than Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger was born in 1879 to Irish parents. She was the sixth of the 11 children her mother successfully birthed. Over the course of her life, her mother had 7 miscarriages, for a total of 18 pregnancies, which greatly impacted her health. Margaret's father was an atheist and a women's suffrage activist. Both of her parents helped influence her in the choices she would make throughout her life. Margaret attended college and became a nurse in the early 1900s, and in 1911 she moved to the Lower East Side of New York, where she cared for many immigrants. Women would wait in line for hours to get an abortion from Sanger, who set aside her own views and beliefs to help these women in need. She also nursed women who were dangerously ill and at risk of death from self-attempted abortions. Sanger's experience as a nurse fortified what would become her lifelong commitment to help women escape poverty and increase their freedom of choice through education and contraception. She started her activism by exercising her freedom of speech. In 1911, she started writing and published periodicals, including many articles and newsletters providing sexual education to women. Many of her articles were censored on the grounds that the information was obscene, and the federal government warned her to stop publishing. When she didn't stop publishing, she was arrested. But instead of facing prosecution, she fled to Europe. In 1915, Sanger returned to New York City and continued her work. She opened the first family planning and birth control clinic in Brooklyn. They distributed flyers in several languages to local women stating, "Mothers, do not kill, do not take life, but prevent." 9 days after it opened, Sanger was arrested. She reopened her clinic twice more, but after being arrested a second time and being evicted by her landlord, the clinic closed. But Sanger didn't let this stop her. She continued writing and publishing periodicals about birth control. And in 1918, the New York Court of Appeals ruled that doctors could prescribe contraception. In the 1920s, Sanger founded several organizations, including the American Birth Control League, the Clinical Research Bureau, and the International Planned Parenthood Federation. She served as the president of this federation until she was 80 years old. In the 1950s, Sanger encouraged Gregory Pincus to develop the birth control pill and helped him obtain funding. And finally, in 1965, birth control was legalized in the United States after the court case Griswold v. Connecticut, 1 year before Sanger's birth. So the next time you or someone you love has access to the care they need for their sexual health or exercises the right to make a choice about their own body, remember to thank Margaret Sangers.